All right, we are now recording. This is the expansion meeting for today, August 9th, 2017, and we're kicking it off with our special guest this month, Hank Avink. Hank, I saw a Facebook live video that you did, I think it was yesterday, where you were talking about the value proposition that you were adding to your ability to grow build your company within the company. And what it triggered for me was, number one, I'd love for you to share that here, and we can talk about, thoughts and philosophies around there. But it got me thinking, about, my value proposition also, and I realized that I have been positioning that with people that I talk with, not only for directs, but my entire group. And then I started thinking about, how other people could do the same kind of thing. And I thought it would be a really good value proposition for us to explore a little bit here today. So I know you're a little bit tight on time. What's your drop dead time?
I'm actually good. So I don't do transactional stuff. So every hour on the hour from my call start, and I never do stuff back to back. So we're good until 12 o'clock.
Okay, fantastic. I will be as respectful as I can with your time. So first of all, Hank, would you just share a little bit of your background? What is your sweet spot in the real estate space?
Yeah. So long story short, I joined March of 2016 here at EXP, and I kind of found out I came over here because I wasn't thrown out of the other company yet. I was no longer welcome because I was now a competitor. So my sweet spot is helping turn up the volume with people and being relational. I have no interest in being a transactional coach. I have 4 or 5 coaching clients that are doing over $1 million in GCI, and I can play in that realm and I can help coach teams. Yeah, I think where my sweet spot is helping people find their inner self and helping them be okay with being themselves, and turning up the volume on it where you're going to attract and repel. And know that you don't have to be friends with everyone. You don't have to have everyone like you. And the more you find who you are, the more people will be attracted to you.
I gotcha.
Does that help with that, Dave?
It really does. So your sweet spot in the real estate space is you're a coach, and you're focusing more in helping people build out their business versus the transactional sides?
Correct. And really looking at net life. So and that's really where EXP comes into play. Is I look at EXP as a great vehicle for providing net life, not only for myself, for my coaching clients, because it takes a lot of the drama out that I see with so many of my coaching clients. Their companies want them to have so many obligations that really subtract from their business. And my whole goal is that life. And when you look a year from now, it's not just the income that we're looking at. It's like, how much fun did you have? How great of a job did you do being a dad? How great of a job did you do having a husband? Because at the end of the day, if all you freaking do is make money, so what? I mean, anybody can make money.
Absolutely.
So just jump in here real quick. Here's what I would like to get across based on this meeting. The thing that's going to kill our talk about rep share and our agents aren't producing. So where I created the conversation around this, if you come over to EXP, I believe you're going to be successful, whether you're with Remax, Keller Williams, or whatever company. And I want to ensure you that we're going to take your business to the next level. And I believe that talk is cheap, so I've just decided that anybody that comes over in my rep share, I'm going to support them because it's easier to retain than it is to keep filling that bucket. My retention level with my coaching business has been darn near 90+%. So the reason why my coaching company has grown so well in the last 18 months is because when I bring people in, they don't leave. And if they do leave, I turn up the volume quick enough where they leave quickly and they find out that they're not the right fit. So my question to all of you is, what's your retention rate with the people that are joining the company through you? And what are you doing to help retain them versus having to keep filling it?
So Hank, you have a special talent, right? So for you, it's having this coaching program, coaching mindset, the ability to dig down on what people need to get to the next level. And so, would you share a little bit about how you put that out on your Facebook Live, and let's talk a little bit also about what your attraction results have been over the past 4 or 5 weeks or so.
Yeah. So basically, what I do is I think I tell a story very well. Now, I have a model that I work on. It's 50 connections a day, 20 contacts, 5 to 10 conversations. So I believe that me putting the EXP Live video out there wasn't just a result of one video, it was the consistency. And so if I was going to ask you guys, what's been your consistent message over the last 12 months, and how would you turn up the volume on that message to get those results? Now, with the EXP message was, I asked questions in that. And I ask questions that cause people to think. And when I look at this fucker, that I almost felt bad for Dave and David, because I bet you I've sent you guys in the last 24 hours probably 7 or 8 people to have real conversations with, 3 of which that said, hey, I'm in, I'm joining. And so if any of you guys want to watch that video, go back and watch that Facebook Live. It's been shared 5 or 6 times. And it just worked.
Absolutely. And so, you're bringing your additional value, right? So the value of joining EXP, we all get to tell that story, right? The 4 pillars, the financial model, the tech model, the equity model, and the revenue share model. But when I was listening to you talk about this, it was also the value add model, right? And so that's going to be different for everybody here in the room, everyone watching this video. And so yours is around coaching, and mine is around growth, right? So I have this standing thing in my group. I don't care if you're level 1 direct to me, or like you are. I think you're 3 or 4 levels deep in the organization. And I just had a great conversation with Rick Raines this morning, who's down around the same level in there. And so my value is I think I can tell a good story about the EXP opportunity, and I'm willing to do that for 366 people in my group, so long as they follow what my methodology is, right? Share the story, they watch the video, and then I'll help. And so I was thinking, what if I wasn't a coach like Hank, or what if I wasn't, good at agent attraction like Dave? What could my extra value add be? And I'd like to hear your thoughts on that, and we can share a little bit.
Well, I guess let me let everybody know what my value that is. And so the first thing I'd like to ask you is, what are you passionate about? What is the one thing that you could claim that you're in the top 1% of everybody that you know of? That's where you start, because if you're passionate about something, it doesn't feel like work, it doesn't feel like a job, and you're naturally going to get good at it. Start subtracting some stuff. Many of you guys may or may not know, I was on the national call at 12 o'clock, or the National Friday calls, and yet what I realized was that time could have been better allocated for my bigger goal. And so what I did was I backed off, and I really spent that time, energy, and effort to get 36 to life in shape. And what that is helping agents do 36 transactions a year, and I put that into a 6-week program. Now that I've created that program, I can offer it to anybody who's in my attraction model or who has joined my rev share model for $36. And I do that $36 because we send them out swag and everything else, and that's basically zero base for me. From 36 to life, once they graduate through that, they can repeat it, or they can go into my hybrid coaching, which is basically 12 or less people in a coaching situation where we use Zoom, where we really help them get into activity and stay consistent. So it goes back to, what is it that you guys can do? Well, I don't know. What are you passionate about? What are you really freaking good at that people would be attracted to and you can help people with? Now, what I've done is I've surrounded myself with an inner circle. meaning the people that I'm bringing in, I am helping them go to 10 people. So I'll use Sherry Hope, for example, or Cheryl. Cheryl's putting people into my coaching program, and Cheryl brings other things to the table that now I can offer to my table. We've got Dave Frog, we've got Alicia, we've got Amy, we've got Aaron, we've got all these people. So what we've all done as an inner circle is committed that as a whole, we're going to bring all this value add to our rev share. So it's not as if you've got to provide it all. What you've got to do is you've got to surround yourself where the value is so big that why the heck would somebody not join it? Does that help with that, Dave?
Yeah, it really does. And so let's say I'm an average agent, right? I'm doing a number that's a good number, but maybe I'm really good at getting my WordPress website ranked in the search engines for search engine optimization for colonial homes in Nashua, New Hampshire, right? I mean, is that the kind of thing, right? So if I was looking to attract someone, what I could say is, anyone who's joining in my group, I do a 2-week or a 4-week or a 6-week program to help get your WordPress site, optimized for your area, blah, blah, blah. But I also now have an additional value add in being that leader.
Well, and that's just exactly it. And I think so many of us try to do so many things. And, I look at Amy B, for example, who came over, who will be an icon agent. She has a program called Sell 100% of Her Listings. Well, that's going to be the value add for anybody that comes in our network, is there's going to be, some sort of discounted opportunity to engage in that. And so everybody that's in your rev share group, look at where you can capitalize on what they're, really, really good at, and put that as an offering. So what we're doing in our inner circle right now is we are putting together a one-page sheet. Jeff Richmond, I think, did an awesome job putting EXP into a one-page sheet. And we're modifying that so at the end it shows all the additional things that people get out of our rev share. Now, I want to be clear with this. We will not cross a sign. And what I mean by that is if one of you guys are in a true relationship with them and you're talking with them, we will do whatever we can to help put the nail in the coffin, so to speak, for you guys. We're not out there looking to switch people over. We're not out there looking. We will compete. However, what we won't do is we aren't looking to go steal people and go be savages, so to speak. And we made it very clear when we were writing out our kind of our rules of the game with my inner circle is that shit won't be tolerated. Meaning we are not going to put up with that. And that's been a strong driving force in my inner circle on when we're going out there is we've got to make sure that our company has such a reputation that people are attracted to it and not repelled by it, because I think there's a lot of crap going on that's repelling people, and it pisses me off. So yes, I will be fighting this fight. I don't have any desire to be part of corporate, and if you're out there doing stupid stuff, I'm going to be the person that wants to fight the bully.
Yeah,
am I allowed to say that, Dave?
Fighting the bully, you can say that. Some of the other things that you said in the last 60 seconds, I would edit. But I had a call this morning, and first thing I always ask is, have you heard the EXP story? And she said yes. And I said, how have you heard the story? And she told me that she has someone in her life that has recently made the move over, and if she were to make the move, she would definitely name them. And I said, that is fantastic. I said, what I want you to do is to make sure you're having meaningful conversations with them, and you should name them. In the meantime, are there any questions that I can ask for you? And she had questions. And so we spoke for, 15 or 20 minutes. And I told her my story and the way, I see the company. And then we parted ways. And I pointed her back in that direction. So I would never cross that line. But I'll tell you, there are some folks that are unprofessional in how they approach that. And my commitment is any of those people get caught doing that stuff, they're not in this group, they're not invited to anything that I do, they're not my friend, because my friends would never do that.
Well, and so Dave, you sparked something, because that's kind of my approach. Is I believe that things can be handled through it's like my hockey team. We didn't need more rules on the ice. If somebody did something that was out of code, we just took care of it. We said, that's not acceptable. Dave, you're aware of a situation that came on, and I got in touch with this person, and we had a real conversation, and they realized they screwed up. They apologized, and it's no big deal. It's water under the bridge, because I don't know about you guys. I'm human. I'm going to do some stupid stuff. Yeah, the reality is when you do that, when you become aware of it, how are you going to proceed moving forward? So, Dave, you said some of the things that you would delete that I said or modify. What was it that I said that you would want modified in that?
Oh, no. What you said there is perfect. I would just take a couple of the curse words out. That's all.
Oh, yeah. You know what? And I'll be honest with you guys. Some of that is intentional, and I know that it causes some people to push away. Yet in the same breath, I'm going wrong. I have no hidden agenda. And by me throwing some of that in there, it shows people that no one's going to put their thumb on me. No one's going to control me. No one's going to have a corporate agenda with me. I've been there, and there's another company out there that's we're attracting a lot of people from, where people can't tell where their hidden agenda is from. I have no hidden agenda. And I'm not pulling some sort of line where you've got to worry about, where's my interest in this. When people can trust that you're coming from a good place and you've got nothing to hide, I think it puts a lot more people at ease. People are in weird positions right now because so many people have hidden agendas or corporate pressures or number pressures. And part of me, that's one reason why I wear a hat backwards. That's one reason why I am who I am, is to show that I don't have any of that.
Yeah, and I really think there's a lot of value in that. Beth Ellen asked the question, what do we do if a countercultural stuff is happening in our area, right? So whether it's in your local area where you're building a team, or maybe you have contacts 100 miles away and you're talking with them and it happens there, how do you handle it? So this is my personal thing, and this is what I would ask. If we go to corporate, right? Corporate will be compelled to make rules and set policies which may have unintended consequences, right? And so I would rather have the opportunity to police it up. So I have 366 people in my group today, and I believe that each and every one of them are awesome people. Now, we're growing so fast, I haven't met every single one of them. I haven't had a chance to have a conversation with everyone. But if someone in my group was acting out of a culture of collaboration and sharing and support, I would want to know about it. And I would want to know about it before it went to the company. Because I would love to hear both sides of the story. I would love to talk to either side if they were out of culture, and have an opportunity to get everyone on the same page without it going and taking resources from our leadership and causing policies to be set. So, for example, if it was someone in Hank's group, I would want Hank to know. I would want Dave Dunlap to know. I would want Chuck Keller to know, and I would want to know. And I think between the four of us, we should be able to have a good conversation either with that person or, their upline. And then if someone, is just, they have a bad attitude and they think they should be able to act that way and they see nothing wrong with it, then I would go to the company and get some help. But we have so many quality people in this organization. In my view, I've always latched on to, what Glenn said early on to me, is you have an opportunity to build your company within the company. And so if it's my company and there's something not good in the culture in my company, I want to have the ability to affect that, because I think everyone here has the intention of doing well, right? So same thing, if it's in someone else's group or whatever, I would bring it either directly to the person or to their upline. And if you get no results, then of course I would go to the company. But I can't imagine, someone hearing what the interpretation of their actions are without wanting to be in a good culture.
Well, yeah, I think that's just it. I think 99 out of 100 are going to be doing it the right way. And so I always go in because there's 16 sides to every story, too, coming in with curiosity. And we're going back to Fierce Conversations 101, right? I think if we need to treat this company as if it's our own, and if things are out of line, go and have a real conversation about it. And I can tell you, if anybody's doing that crap within my rev share line, I'll turn the light off on them, and I'll be out of relationship with them tomorrow. Because, again, at least if you hear any of that going on in my line, you let me know, and I will take care of it very quickly and promptly.
Oh, yeah, and thanks for that, Hank. And I think everyone here feels the same way, right? So if it's happening, that's the course that I would follow. Maybe someday we'll be large enough that we have a culture czar or something like that who will be able to bring that kind of stuff to. But, when I was running brokerages before, I was that person. And it was, within my 150 agents in that office. And there was a lot of competition, for the profit share and all of those things. And I had to deal with it every office that I went into. But once we got people educated, I never had an issue with it. So I think we're growing at such a quick rate that there are people who get overzealous, and sometimes they think what they're saying is in a vacuum and it's secret. But what happens is everything's very transparent, and I think some people get embarrassed by what they said in secret, thinking that would get them a person. And if the person who's joining is of good culture, they're going to out them anyway.
Oh, that's what happened with our particular situation. She goes, or they, I don't even want to give enough information because I genuinely feel this person was embarrassed on how they reacted. And they said that it was completely out of line. And, when someone responds like that, hey, I get it. I've had best intentions and missed the mark. And so can I plant a seed real quick, Dave, with where my thinking is?
Sure.
Okay, so this might be a little bit too early yet. I like to think big. Right now, 36 to life is for my rev share line. What I've seen from 36 to life from the beginning was I see EXP on where agents go to be productive. I'm working on 12 to start, 24 to live, and 36 to life, where every single agent that comes into EXP will have access to this as a value add. Now, I've got to prove it within my own rev share and watch everything explode. Yet, ultimately, I believe this is bigger than me and my rev share line. And I would love to have us have a value proposition at EXP where this is where agents come not only for rev share and stock options, yet to be productive and knock it out of the freaking park and do 36 transactions a year and make a ton of money, be able to do that on a part-time basis where now they can pour back into the communities and do the ripple effect. So I believe there's a responsibility in this road to make this company as big as what it can be, because I believe that we have the ability to go change the world if we can put money and time into people's hands. And this is the vehicle that I've chosen to help make that happen.
I gotcha. Yeah, so, what I would challenge everyone here in the room and anyone watching the video later is, what is your additional value add, right? And if you don't have one, think about what you're really good at. And if you helped other people be good at that too, would it help them have a better life, make more money, have more time, anything like that. And, I've seen so many great contributors here in the cloud office. I think about, Ken, who, does a great job with social media and how he started heading up, those kind of things. And Carrie Lucas on the left side of the room here has always done such a spectacular job with her WordPress and search engine optimization and those things. And so, I think everyone has a unique value proposition that they can lend into the conversation, and and then look at what that unique value proposition is in your upline, right? Because you get to leverage that too. I mean, if I was in Hank's downline, I could leverage everything that he's putting on the table plus whatever I put on the table. Hank's in my group, and so he gets to leverage his stuff and my stuff too, right? And so I think it gives you another pillar to talk about what makes things special and makes things more attractive, and I think it also adds to culture.
Yeah, and turn up the volume. Meaning, I've got, just by doing 2 Facebook Live videos in the last 3 weeks about EXP, we've got 9 people that have signed up, 10 if you count the one that just did the application, and there's another 16 people that are in the process by just turning up the volume. Now, the only way that the volume works, and John, you asked the question with 50, 25, 1, that's my 6 C's of the database. Make 50 connections a day. Facebook works off of algorithms, and John, you know way more about this than what I know. 50 connections a day, 20 contacts. That's a 2-way where it's a handshake, and then 5 to 10 conversations a day, and you got to do that every single day. That's 18,000 connections, and I believe that's why 2 videos has gotten this result, because there's a great book by Ryan Dicey's called The Invisible Selling Machine. I've done a lot with creating social currency and not just taking withdrawals, where that 50-25-1 combination now allows me to go do a video and take a withdrawal like that. It's not just a one-shot deal. It's like Gary Vee says, I'm an overnight success because I hit my head against the wall 50,000 times.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Let me open it up for any questions that people might have here in the live group for you, Hank. All right, no questions. And
I've got one.
Okay.
Hey, Hank, it's Chuck Keller. I was wondering, what's your feeling on? I know that some people have kind of mentioned this before too. Is when you're doing a video like that, and your other people are seeing the video, and it doesn't really apply to them, especially not so much you, but let's say those of us that are realtors, and we're putting a video out like that. What's your thought when we say something like, "Well, I don't want my clients to see that. I don't want them to be involved with that. I'll come across as really selling." What's your comeback to that?
Well, okay, so I do think that there's power in separating your list. So I also coach coaches who are getting into the business, and so I've dealt with this a lot as far as, I've got my real estate clients, and then I have my realtor friends. And what I found the most effective is you binge, and you decide which list is your real estate, meaning your real estate business list, and which one is your realtor list, which is your attraction list. And so if you're going to do something that's a stronger video like that, and you're concerned about it affecting your real estate business, you can click on who the audience is going to be and only put it out there to that. I mean, Chuck, I'll be honest with you. Everything that I do is in alignment. I got to ask John Maxwell this question, because it's not a matter of lack of opportunity. And I asked him, I said, John, how do I figure out which opportunities I say yes to? And he says, you got to make sure that everything that you're pouring into lines up with everything else that you're doing. So if not everything else is lining up, what you're doing, you're being watered down. So Chuck, what I would ask you is what you're doing in line with everything else? And if so, then you don't have to worry about it. Yet if you have one foot on the real estate end and one foot on the attraction end, how do you make those two worlds combine so that they're not contradicting each other? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and in fact, one of my best clients is one of my biggest cheerleaders for me to go after other realtors. And whenever I'm in a social setting and he sees someone, he's always like, talking it up. So it does work in alignment, like you're saying.
Well, and what I think it goes down to is is if people go, what do they know you for? I'm very purposeful on what people know me for on my Facebook, and I'm very consistent with it. For example, there's a joke about me not having a hat on my avatar. I wear an orange hat, and you will almost always see me with an orange hat. And if you ever see me with a hat on frontwards, that was strategic because people will say, wow, that's something different that Hank's doing. I need to pay attention. And so it's not just one strategy, it's the overarching and how it fills in everything else. So first thing that I would say is divide the list if that's of a concern. And ask yourself, are you making a withdrawal or are you making a deposit?
Good answer. Thank you.
And Chuck, I do want to give you a little kudos. I'm very selective on who I send over to you, Chuck. This dude is a closer, and what I mean by that is he does such a great job giving the value proposition of EXP. I mean, he almost has like this magical pitch he does because every single person he's talked to is now with EXP. So, Chuck, whatever you're doing, I need to come hang out with you because you're awesome.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you did. I couldn't do it yesterday because I was traveling, but I'm back at home now, so I'm available.
Well, you're doing great, so thank you.
And just to add to that, Chuck, if you look at, Hank's video, right, that style may not be your style if you're sending it out to, your overall Facebook group. But if you think about it, if Chuck did a, Facebook Live or a video or, post something like that, that was, being celebratory of, Kristen in Arkansas becoming an icon agent with the company and getting the icon award and being proud of her and looking for other leaders to identify themselves throughout the country, something like that. I think the message on the marketing for growth is a good message to share with your local clients because it puts you in a position that you are a growth leader, not just locally, right? And so I think that elevates who you are, to them. You're not just a local person that is, talking to them about real estate, but you're engaged at a much higher level.
Right, that makes sense.
Can I give you guys a resource? With finding your voice, I'm somebody who comes from abundance, and this book was so awesome. Like my first thought was, I got to keep this to myself because it put me so much further ahead as far as connecting the dots. And it's called Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. Russell's the owner of ClickFunnels, and as far as finding your voice and telling your story, that right there is the clearest roadmap that I can find for you using social media and finding your story and finding your voice. And I'd like to ask yourself, how's your energy with the videos that you're doing? If your energy sucks, I don't care if you have the best message in the world, it's not going to come across. If I ask people what attracted them to me, 9 out of 10 times they say your energy was just infection. Sometimes I have no clue what you're talking about or excited about it, and I want to be a part of that.
So one of my first memories of you is you being on a table and being a madman. You were just so excited and exuberant. And and I got to tell you, Hank, I cannot remember whether it was live and you were on a table or whether it was in the old cloud office.
Well, it goes back to that. So here's what I don't want you guys to be neutral with people. Meaning be positive or negative, which means that you're going to turn up the volume on who you really are. And what I want you to do is I want you to make an impact on every single person that you come into contact with. Good, bad, or indifferent, they won't be neutral with you. And I know with me, I turn a lot of people off. Some people can't handle me on a full Hank mode. And I get that. Yeah, when you're making 50 connections a day, 20 contacts a day, and 5 to 10 conversations a day over the course of 5 years, it puts you in a position where you're going to have a lot of influence over the people that get you, and the people that don't, get out. I mean, I think so many of us are so worried about keeping everybody that we meet happy and near us. And I think that's a mistake because when when you stand for nothing, you don't stand at all. I think there's a saying like that. So, anyways, yes, Dave, I can sometimes be a little batshit crazy.
Well, so I was thinking about that instant, and I just wanted to share it because I thought it was a great example of your enthusiasm. But can you tell me whether it was a live event or in the cloud? Because now I'm thinking, how awesome is it that either my brain is so addled that I can't remember the difference, or that it's so cool that, like I'm fully engaged, even though we're here in the cloud office. To me, this is still a live meeting, and so in my head, a year from now, I might have been standing next to you, in the office somewhere. I don't know.
Well, I think what it was I was teaching a class at the old company, and someone was doing something stupid, and I literally jumped up on the table in front of them, and I'm like, "What the hell are you freaking doing?" And someone snapped a picture of it. So once a year, when that comes up in the Facebook memories, inevitably someone will either say, "Hey, remember this moment?" So I think it was probably just a Facebook post, because it was a classic picture of me up on a table, just like saying, "Open up your freaking eyes at what you're doing." Yeah, sometimes I go a little extreme because I want people to listen.
Yeah, no, I absolutely love it. Anything else you want to add, Hank? One thing that I'd like to hear from you before you go, just so we have recorded proof, right? So, tell me where your group is today and where your real goals, your passion goals are for 1 year from today.
Okay, 1 year from today, I will have 36 in my first line. Now, these 36 in my first line that I'm counting are people who intend to have 12 people in their first line. And so with that, I will absolutely have 36 in my first line, and those are all people that are working on the 12. I may end up with 48. Yet, Linda, one of the gals in my first line, doesn't have any real intentions of growing it. She has other focuses, so I don't count her. Each one of those 36 will have 12, and then we're counting on one. I truly believe that I'll have 900 agents in my network 12 months from now. And I feel very confident on that. Whenever I've gotten clarity on a goal, I've hit that goal every single time. Now, here's the challenge, Dave. Every time I've set a goal, it's usually taken me twice as long. However, I will have 900 agents in my rev share line within 12 months.
I love that, and I have confidence that you can do it. I've been blessed, with Chuck traveling a little bit, to have conversations with some of the folks that you have brought to the company recently, and quality. You keep bringing folks like that, and it's all about multiplication, not about addition. So great job there, Hank.
Cool, my pleasure. And best way to get a hold of me is Facebook Messenger. I am very purposeful with my time management. And I think this is where a lot of us are falling off, is we don't hold our time accountable. And I know I got some pushback for not being on the Friday calls anymore. What I looked at was, when I looked at the multiplication on where that time was being spent, sometimes you need to reallocate the time so that you can get things in order. And I would encourage each and every one of you to interrogate the crap out of your schedule. Does your schedule reflect your bigger goal? I knew by taking a step back from some of the commitments that I had on a weekly basis would allow me to accelerate what was going on. So my question to all of you guys in the group is, what have you said yes to that you should be saying no to, so that you can reach your greater goal? Which means that you may have to be saying no to significance. Me being up on the stage on Friday calls was more about significance and making the impact. So what I did was I decided to take that 3 hours back in the week, pour into 36 to Life. Now 36 to Life is exploding, where now we can revisit putting some of that time back in. Yet so many times we choose significance before sales. And if you get significance through your sales, you can say no to stuff that you shouldn't be saying yes to. Sorry.
That was perfect. Thank you so much, Hank. Really good ad. I'm going to get this posted. My goal is by the end of the day, Monday. So thank you so much for coming in.
Perfect. Appreciate you guys. Good luck with everybody. And if I could be of any help, Facebook Messenger is the best way to do it.
All right, Hank. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, buddy.
Absolutely. All right, I am going to jump into